Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to another lecture for Computer Science 9618 AS level, and we are down to the last subsection of section number 8, databases. That is 8.3, data definition language and data manipulation language, DDL and DML. So first of all, we have the database definition language. This is the programming language used to construct and alter the design of tables contained within a database. The most common form of DDL is structured query language, or SQL. This language is not used to directly alter the data stored within a table. Rather, it is used to construct the framework within which data is contained. So DDL basically defines the framework in which data would be stored. This type of data that is used to define other data is known as metadata, or the data about data. SQL data types, these are the data types you're supposed to know in SQL for your AS level. First thing we have is char, or character, and then in the parenthesis we write the size. These are fixed length text, and size can be fixed from 0 to 255. Then we have the varchar. Again, you have to mention the size. This is text. Basically, variable length strings can be from 0 to 65,535 characters. Then we have integer that can store a whole number, which can be positive or negative. Then we have boolean, which stores 1 as true or 0 as false. Then we have real, the floating point numbers, the date to store values for date, and time to store values for time. There can be multiple formats for date and time. So these are the data types which you need to remember for your AS level chapter number 8. To create a database, use simply this syntax in the SQL. Create, write down the word create, and then write the keyword database, and then write the name you want your database to be. One thing to remember, always end all of your SQL queries with a semicolon. For example, create database library, and this would mean that a database by the name of library would be created. This would obviously be a blank database. So once you have set up a database, you can create a table. For example, simple non-relational table. If you need to create a very simple basic table, you can do it like this: create table, and then you can write the name for the table. That can be users, and then inside the parenthesis you can define how many fields would be there in your table and what would be their data types. For example, we can have first name, and its data type can be varchar 30. That means the name can be from 0 to 30 characters in length. Last name, that would again be varchar of limit 30. Then age would be an integer, and date of birth would be of data type date. Once you have finished writing all the attributes or the field names, simply close the parenthesis and put a semicolon. Example 2, creating a table with a primary key. If you want to create a table with a primary key, then you can do it like this. Again, we use the same command, create table, and then we simply write whatever name we want our table to have. Then simply what we do, we follow the same pattern, that inside the parenthesis we write all of our field names and their data types. The only difference is whatever we want to be set as the primary key, such as over here, we are going to write 2 extra keywords with it. The first one is going to be, after the data type we are going to write not null. Not null basically means it cannot be left blank. And then we are going to write the keyword primary key to tell the database that this, or rather the DBMS software, that this table orders, inside this table make this field as the primary key, which is order ID. Then we have order number. Again, it is integer, and not null means it cannot be left blank. Then we have customer ID, that is again integer, and this one would be the foreign key. And then in the end, or rather along with the foreign key, we are going to tell which table it is going to link to. And customer ID would be a foreign key, and it would be linked from the customers table. We are going to use for that the references keyword. Tell the database that link this table of orders with the table customers using the customer ID field from the customers table. And this would be written like this. This basically tells the database that in this table, the orders table, make a field by the name customer ID. The data type for it should be integer, and this should act as a foreign key. Once you define a foreign key, you have to write the keyword references, and then you have to write the name of the table which holds the same field as primary key, and then you have to write the name of the field, this one, the same one, inside parentheses like this. Ultimately, we close the parenthesis which we started from over here, and then we write our semicolon to end the query. When this query is run, this table would be created exactly like this. Alter table. If you want to alter the structure of a table, such as if you want to change the field names, or you want to change the data type of a specific field or multiple fields, then you can use the alter table command. Examples: alter table username, add column height real. This is going to add another column by the name of height with the data type real into the original table, that is username. Or alter table modify column height integer. Now this command modify is going to change the data type of the column height from a real to integer, and this technically should be, or at least for as far as your exams are concerned, it should be in all capital. Anyways, alter table username drop column email. This is drop command is going to delete the column with the name email. The entire column would be deleted. Then we have alter table username, add primary key user ID. That means the column by the name of user ID will be made into a primary key. Alter table username, add foreign key order ID. So a column would be added by the name of order ID, and it would be made as the foreign key. Whenever you make foreign key, you have to write this part as well, the references keyword, and then you have to tell which table contains the same field as a primary key. So in this case, it is orders table where order ID is present. Drop table. Deleting a table is easily done with the drop table command. You can write it like this: drop table, and then just write down the table name, and that entire table would be deleted. Data manipulation language, or DML. Data manipulation language is used to add, modify, delete, or update the existing data inside a database. It has nothing to do with the structure of the database itself. Rather, it only deals with the data. These are also used in SQL statements, and from here and on, the SQL statements that we would be studying are strictly for the data manipulation language. The first and the most famous one is select. Select is direct from table name, means select all fields and all records, basically show everything from the whatever table name you have written on screen. Or you can write it like this: select attribute from table. You can write over here one attribute name or one field name, or you comma separated multiple field names. That many fields would be shown. This is used to retrieve data from a database table or multiple tables, displaying all columns. For example, select first name, last name from customers. So these two columns would be shown. So for these two columns or fields, all the existing records or all the tuples would be shown only for these two columns. As you can see, when you run select first name, last name from customers, you are only shown these two columns like this. Where this clause is used to filter the results based on the criteria given. For example, select first name, last name from customers where country is USA and last name equals do. So when this query is run, as you can see from the original table, you basically have to make sure that both of these conditions are fulfilled because the command between them is AND, or the boolean operator between them is AND, so both of them should be applied together. And there's just one person whose last name is Doe and his country is USA. The other Doe does not have his country as USA, so that's why just these two are just this one name is shown. However, both the first name column and the last name column is shown for this person because that is what you selected. Then we have order by. This clause is used to sort the table by a certain column, either in ascending order or descending order. Select all. This static stands for all. From customers, order by country. This means it is going to show you everything in the table. However, the results would be sorted in ascending order by the country name. By first name. And as you can see, the first name column has been put into ascending order or alphabetical order. Normally, after writing the column name, we write ASC for ascending or DSC for descending. However, if you don't write something, technically the database usually interprets it as the alphabetical order. And when one column is arranged, all the other columns are shuffled accordingly so that the whole database is correct, consistent, and its integrity is preserved. So you only need to apply the sorting on a single column. All the others would adjust accordingly. Then we have group by. This is used to group certain values together. For example, select country count asterisk as a number from customers group by country. We're talking about technically the same table. You can see this is the original table, and we are basically asking it to group all the records or tuples in this table by the country name. So what it's going to do, it is going to tell you that how many customers belong to each country. To UAE, there's just one, UK 2, USA 2. We usually use count asterisk over here so that it can tell us how many customers were there from, or how many people were present in each group. Now, this is what you can say, this is something that is not explicitly a part of our syllabus, but regardless, this is a very valid SQL clause. As keyword can be used to rename a column in the result only, not permanently, temporarily, just in the on-screen display, to rename a column to something else, whatever you mention over here. Count asterisk as number. That basically means that count how many customers have this country as their name, and then show that column with the heading of number rather than something else. Then we have the aggregate functions, the sum, the count, and the average. These queries are all used with the select command or the select keyword or the select query, and all return numbers as the response to the query. The first one is sum. This sums up values within a certain column. Whatever column name you write inside the parenthesis along with this command, like this. If you write select sum column name from table, it would run something like this. For example, if you write select sum amount as total sales from order, then that means this query is going to add together all the values present in the amount column, and then it is going to present it to you, the grand total, with the heading of total sales. Count. This returns the number of rows retrieved by a statement. So when you run select count asterisk from customers, it is going to tell you only the number of rows or records or tuples that were there in the table. And if you write a condition along with it by using the where clause, it would only show you the number of rows or records that match that certain criteria. Right now we have not set a criteria, so it is basically telling you the number of records available in the table, which is currently 5. Then we have the average function. This returns the mean average of the attributes specified. For example, if you say select AVG and then you write age as average age from customers. It is going to calculate an average for all the numbers which have been entered, or all the records or tuples which have been entered in this age column. There are currently 5 values or 5 numbers, so it is going to add them together and calculate an average, and then show it as average age over here, that is coming out to be 25.6. Okay, so I'm going to end my lecture for today over here. There are still some queries left for section 8.3. Inshallah, we'll cover it in our next lecture. Otherwise, this one is going to be very long and probably a little bit too complex for you to remember each and everything or understand each and everything. I hope you have understood what we have discussed so far. If you have any problems, any queries, any questions, any confusions, then simply write them in the comments below. I'll definitely get back to you. If you have not subscribed to my channel already, please do so and share it with your friends as well. Lastly, if you would like to order a study pack for AS level along with the hard copy of all of these notes, or if you want a study pack for IGCSE or O-level computer science, or if you want good study notes for physics, O-levels or IGCSE, then you can order them by using the form link given in the description below. That being said, I'll see you guys in the next lecture, and we'll inshallah wrap section number 8 up. That is the last section for paper 1. Till then, stay tuned, take care, Allah Hafiz.